We're back. All right. Welcome to our episode Adventures in Business Live. Yes, Manny, we got the jazz hands. You're very excited there. Talk to us. What's going on? What's new?
I got the jazz hands. Well, I want to say first and foremost, for those of you watching, and if you're not watching, if you're just listening after the fact, you might want to head over to YouTube because Amani and I are in an accidental green uniform today. We are matchy mattressons unexpectedly, and I like our great minds thinking alike today, Amani. I think that's super fun. Yes.
Agreed.
I have some jazz hands today because this is the first weekend in a very long time where I start the week not frustrated about my renovation, my home remodel. I'm coming into this week feeling very encouraged, very happy, very like, okay, I can see the light at the end of this insane tunnel. And things are coming along. They're really coming along right now, Amani.
Okay. How much time do we have left in said renovation if you're estimating?
Oh, I was going to say, I have no idea. I think we'll be back before Christmas. I think by December 10th-ish, I think.
Okay. So about a couple months out. All right.
I mean, if you ask me, I've opened a bunch of hotels. So to me, when I look at this, we're 2 weeks out if I was running a hotel, but I'm not. Yes. And it's a much different situation when you don't have all the money of a hotel and you're just like a little kitty cat doing your thing. So I think they said by December 1st at the latest. So that's why I'm saying December 10th.
All right. Yeah. Well, we've experienced it with you, so we can't wait to see you back in home studio.
Yeah. You're in it to win it. I know. No more on location studios. Well, Amani, I feel like you are a traveling Wilbury. You were at IMX the last time I saw you, and then you just made a quick sneak attack trip to
Colombia. I was in the country of Colombia.
I mean, for goodness sakes, you left, you came back. Can you please tell us about the trip?
Yes. So we were in Cartagena, Colombia. We were there for 4 days, 3 nights. It was so much fun. It's a beautiful country. Got to see a lot of history, people. We were on the water. It was nice. It was a lot of fun. Could have stayed probably one more day and gone to one of the islands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great trip. Good music, good food. Yeah, it was good. Just got back early this morning.
What surprised you about Colombia? Like, what was something unexpected?
The people are very friendly. Everywhere you go, they'll greet you. Buenas, good day or whatever. Even if you're in the elevator, you don't know them. That was one thing that surprised me. What else? That was probably the biggest thing right there. And then just how it's just an interesting place. Like I'm trying to think, surprised, just really good customer service, particularly in the hotel. We stayed at the Hyatt in Cartagena. So it was really good. And I think the neighborhood is called Boca Grande. What surprised me personally is that my Spanish was pretty good. Not my friend Jeremy, his was phenomenal. Mine was pretty good where I could communicate. But then, like, the people really appreciated the fact that I was like using Spanish, or I was asking them, like I say, oh, ¿cómo se dice window, ventana? They're like, oh, yes. So they really appreciated the fact that I was trying to speak in their language. That was probably the biggest surprise. Like they really, really appreciated that. And when I would ask them questions and learn, they're like, yes, yes. They were really like, you could tell that really meant a lot to them.
Yeah, yeah, you tried. I think that attempt
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
what means something, right? I think that's good.
Yeah.
Wait, Jeremy, our friend that we interviewed for the
Yes.
show. Oh,
Yes.
I love Jeremy. How's he
Yeah.
doing? What's he writing about these days? What's hot on his
So,
topics?
I think he's about to release in June a children's book. So he was just
Okay.
talking to us about that. So that's what he's working on. That's his big project. And yeah, we were there with our other friend Eric, who we tried to interview too.
Yeah.
And it was good. The three of us just walking. We did a lot of walking. We were in the walled city, which was very interesting because it's very different during the day than it is at nighttime.
That's
And
right. I've been in that walled city before. Yeah.
so
Lots
it
of
was
lots of selling. There's lots of selling.
yes.
It's a good lesson on sales.
Oh
and
yes,
approaching.
there's some great salespeople. Yes.
Cold calling, we'll say.
Yes. So that was our trip. And yeah, I think this is a odd but still good segue to our guest today.
Well, we have a lifetime sales and marketing executive
Yes,
here with us.
perfect.
That is, we'll have to ask her about her knowledge of Colombian sales tactics. But I'm really excited. Every time I've talked to, I was on her podcast, and we communicated via email a couple times. And anytime I can talk with this person, I get excited because she's a super interesting and cool human. She's a chief marketing officer at one of the hospitality industry's leading software platforms, Revenate. She's the host of the Hotel Moment podcast. So if you've not listened to that podcast, you have to check it out. She's a culture keeper and a lifelong hospitality professional, and she's sometimes known in the distant past as Prof K. So welcome to the show, Karen Stevens.
Yes, round of applause here. We do that. You're on the screen. You're with us.
Hey, awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for that intro, Mandy. I mean, that sounds fabulous. So I love it.
Yeah, I'll record it. I'll record it and send it to you if you want.
I love it.
Have you ever been to Colombia? We should start there.
I haven't. Unfortunately, I haven't done a lot of traveling in South America. I've been to Central America, and I've been all over Europe, and some travel in APAC, but South America is somewhere I want to go.
All right. Well, we got options for you. So go ahead, Mandy. I think you were going to tell a story to help us kind of get to know Karen a little bit. You want to tell the story?
Well, I want to ask a question because Karen, people talk about, you say Prof K, I know on your on LinkedIn, and you used to be a professor. Where did you get the name and what did you teach?
Sure. So when I was teaching, I used to teach French of all things. So I have a master's degree in French literature, which I did when I was quite young. So when I was a junior in college, I wanted to do a year abroad. So I studied for a year in France. And then I came back and I graduated, and I was 22 years old. And I was like, well, I don't want a real job yet. I mean, what are you doing? So I went back in and got a graduate degree at San Diego State. So down where you are, Mandy, right? And then after that, I taught part-time at Sacramento City College and Sacramento State. So I was an adjunct professor for a few years, which was awesome, but unfortunately not really good for the income. I was making about $10,000 a year teaching full-time. Yeah.
Although, I mean, I think great salespeople are educators, great marketers are educators. What is a common thread from that teaching experience that you had that you might still apply towards your business today?
Oh, yeah. I would say being able to really be direct about what you're trying to do. I say to salespeople all the time when we're training, it's like, we all know what you're doing here, right? Because sometimes I feel like sellers feel like, oh, I don't want to go in for the kill, or I don't want to like ask for the money or do. It's like, no. We all know what we're doing here. You've got a service or a product to provide. So be very clear about the ask and be very clear and honest and transparent about what you can deliver. And, with teaching French, I only was able to speak French in the classrooms. I wasn't able to use any English. So very expressive, very, trying to get people to draw out and communicate with me. And I absolutely loved it. I wish I could, have supported myself on it, to be honest. But yeah, just being direct. We're all here. We all know why we're here. And I think being direct and transparent is the way to go. Be authentic.
I love that. And in being authentic, I want to dive right into Revinate. I just learned about this company last year through your colleague, Dominic, and it's super interesting. So can you tell everybody what is Revinate and how does it serve the hospitality industry?
Absolutely. So Revinate, we say, is the direct booking platform. So what do I mean by that? I mean, our whole goal in life is to make sure that hoteliers can take back their booking channels. So, how do consumers find your product and then make sure that they book with you directly? So our roots go back to online reputation way back in the day, 2009. It was like revolutionary to actually have, reviews in one place. So at that time for hoteliers, TripAdvisor was making a big move on the markets. And then all of a sudden there was Booking.com, Expedia, Travelocity, Orbitz, Google, all these different channels. So the first thing that we did was basically allow hoteliers to see everything in one dashboard. The very beginnings of, seeing everything in one dashboard so you could respond to all this stuff. We applied AI in the early days on sentiment analysis. But even back then we were talking about, hey, the way to get direct bookings is to use that, that marketing speak, what people love about your hotel, what you can understand about why they're booking at your competitors, and use that to your advantage. So, job one is just making sure your reputation's online. But then over the years, we evolved. So we got into the guest feedback space. So that would be like structured content with surveys. And then we launched an email marketing CRM shortly after that. So I would say kind of 2015, 2016. And that's when we really started it. How do you go through your database, find the people who already love your property, use that to personalize communication so that they book with you direct. Another good example would be, a lot of people might come into your hotel the first time on a Booking.com or from Expedia. How do you capture that data and make sure that the next time that they come, they book direct with you, right?
Yeah.
And then Dominic, who's one of our top sales guys, he came to us through an acquisition of Navis, who a lot of people, if you know Navis, you love Navis, who had reservation call software. So that is really a direct booking platform. And that what we'd love to say is that, hey, the stay for the guest starts the minute they make that reservation. So they call into one of our reservation agents, either on property. We also have an overflow service. But the more that reservation agent understands about the guest, the better they're going to be able to do to convert that guest, not only for the booking, but everything else, spa, restaurant, anything else that you need. So now it's a fully integrated platform, really cool. And we're just evolving from there. That was a long answer, but hopefully that helps.
No, I love it because the answer gave me like 14 follow-up questions. Amani, I won't ask all 14, I promise, but I am going to ask one.
Yeah.
Who is not using you right now that you wish you would? Now, and it doesn't have to be the name of a company, but like who isn't using you that you think should be using you?
Yeah, so I would have to say, especially in North America, we're pretty well penetrated when you talk about small to mid-sized groups, independents, all the most beautiful independents. If you could name them, they're on our platform. I would say where we're breaking into would be the enterprise brands. So we've made some headway there with a few brands, but there's, if you look at the North American market, what do we got? 75 to 80% of this market. And when I say enterprise brands, I'm talking about Hilton, Marriott, IHG, Accor, et cetera. So we have some news coming out soon. I can't talk about yet, but that is really, especially in North America, kind of the last frontier for us.
Awesome.
Now,
that's great. That's good to know.
You used to work for Travelocity.
Yeah.
And now you're attempting to, I don't want to say circumvent, but you want to get people off of Travelocity-like services to book direct. Why the switch? It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it was really fun to be able to come over to this side of the house. First of all, Travelocity was a great company. And
Yeah.
I loved my experience there. I worked in the United States and also in London for their brand called lastminute.com. So that was awesome. And I think coming over to the technology side of the house, the advantage there is we can understand, hey, where can we where can we fill the gaps for the hotel? So what do I mean by that? You're always going to need an OTA unless you're a big branded box, unless you're part of a network where, okay, I'm a Hilton in the middle of Chicago. People can probably find you without an OTA, right? But if you're one of these cool independent properties or a mid-sized group and you're out in the middle of anywhere, Austria, you're going to need those OTAs to help you, what we call the billboard effect, right? So the first time that they book, they're going to come in from an OTA. And then where Revinate can help is once you're on property, now, how do I make you my guest? How do I make sure that all the experiences going forward can be through our technology directly with the hotel? So I think that they work hand in hand. Now things are evolving pretty quickly. So I think in 6 months and in a year, things are going to be very different. And what I mean by that is now with AI and with our ability to really see, throughout the entire booking funnel, where folks are coming from, what their preferences are, all of those things. Search has changed dramatically just in the last 6 months. So it'll be interesting to see how OTAs evolve. But I think, hoteliers need to be thinking, especially now with AI, how do I get ahead of it? And what do I mean by that is that how do I make sure that my content and what I own is the single source for all of these search engines, for everything else that's going on out there? And that's the challenge.
Now, with this era that we're in terms of marketing, what are some trends specific to marketing that you're observing and watching, trying to stay ahead of in terms of Revinate?
Oh man, it is all about content. And I don't mean AI where you get an article, because you can bust out an article now. You can be, oh, give me this, that, and the other. Boom, you have an article. AI is looking for original content. It's looking for informational, original content. So that is something I know for Revinate. We spent a lot of time on the marketing team over the course of the last year, just making sure that from an SEO perspective, we are solid. So all of the tags, all of the keywords, we went back and pulled all of our old content and made sure that that was optimized for SEO. And we're just always really mindful that everything that we write is something that's going to be picked up by the bots in terms of educational content. So thought leadership and real authority there. So it's not something you can just spin up overnight. And it's definitely not something you want to use just for AI. So a shout out to all the content writers out there. I think your job is really safe. Good original content is hard to find, right? It's really hard to find.
Since your time at Revinate, and I'll say besides AI, because AI is probably the easiest answer, what have been some other technological advances that have really been your favorite?
Wow. What am I favorite? So within Revinate or within the industry overall?
Both. Like within the industry. Yeah, within the industry and within Revinate.
Okay. So, oh gosh, it's hard because it's like AI is the big thing.
I know, that's why I said without
yeah. Well, I think personalization is something we certainly talk about it all the time now, but that's not something we were talking about that much a few years ago, and it's really actually hilarious when we made the change from, call it guest feedback, to an email marketing CRM. I mean, we didn't have anybody at Revinate that knew anything about that space. It was pretty hilarious, actually, because we were like, oh, what do we do here? So we hired a bunch of folks who had that expertise. I mean, one thing we like to say is we're built by hoteliers for hoteliers. So that was really key to making sure that we were able to serve that part of the market. But I think personalization has really come along. It's something that we talk about all the time. Now, to be able to do that, you have to be able to understand the data, and you have to understand, I think the next big advancement that occurred for Revinate that we're improving on all the time is what we call identity resolution, or we've also called it advanced profile synthesis. So historically in hotels or actually, I think for email marketing at large, merging and deduping profiles has always been pretty basic. It's first name, last name, and email. And that's kind of table stakes for a lot of platforms out there. And Revinate, even, it's been at least 5 years. We did a much more machine learning way of understanding, who is Amani? Is this the right email address? How can I match it with phone numbers? How can I correct for spelling mistakes? If somebody says Mandy with a Y instead of with an I, is that the same person? So it's kind of those things paired together. So we were, if you want to really have an accurate view of the guest, you got to make sure you're looking at the right person holistically. Right. So Yeah. And now everybody talks about personalization, but it's hard to do. It's really hard to do.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Mandy, I got 5, 10, 15 follow-up questions too, but I'll serve the ball back to
love
you.
it, you guys. This is great.
I know. We're fun. We play a little pickleball. I want to switch gears. I want to talk about your podcast.
Yeah.
So you have a great podcast called The Hotel Moment. You interview key leaders in the hospitality industry on all sides, which
Right.
I think, and I think because I'm coming off of IMEX where I was at Future Leader Forums, and it's like these fresh students who they just think hospitality, you work in a hotel. Like they don't realize all of the spider webs and legs of hospitality. And you have all of the spider legs and webs of hospitality and just interesting technology people on your podcast. So tell us a little bit about The Hotel Moment. And then I have a follow-up question to that too.
Sure, absolutely. So first of all, I got to give a shout out to my team because without the team, it would not even be possible. So 2 women we want to shout out. One is Sanjana Shapali, who is our VP of brand marketing. So Sanjana came to us through an acquisition of a company called Go Moment in December of 2021. And the podcast actually started during COVID with Go Moment, where they were just they were like, okay, everybody shut down. So like, what do we do here? So there was that's how it started, was just to be informational and conversational. And at the time I was chief revenue officer. So I was running the sales team. And I think I did like an internal company meeting. It was something internal where I got up and, spazzed out or whatever I did. And she pinged me and she was like, we got to get you on the podcast. And at first I was like, I hate this idea. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to do this. This is going to be awful. Who wants to listen to me? Blah, blah, blah. But she was very insistent. As I always say to her, gosh, it just drives me crazy because she makes me do stuff. And then she's right. So
I was going to say, she's always right. I've only met her once and I would say yes to anything she asks.
You should just say yes. I'm like, just say yes. It just saves everybody time. No, so she was really the genesis of it and has carried it through. And she's just great about writing to people. She's been working in hospitality for a while. So I have to say, getting those initial first few guests, that's really what gets the momentum going. So we started out with Noreen Henry, who's a very good friend of mine. She's the CRO at Sojourn now, but she was my boss at Travelocity. So she was really cool to be my first guest. And then from there, we were able to start really building credibility. So now, thanks, Mandy. Yeah, if you look at the page, and you've been on it as well, which is great, but you can see you're part of a really great group of people. So it's a lot of CEOs, a lot of technology professionals. It's very cool. The other woman who I have to give a shout out to is Brenna Turpin. And Brenna was, fresh-faced right out of college, started it as an intern for Navis. And now she's one of our, content contributors, but she does, the scripts, she does pre-interviews. And then she's also we do these cool, every other week, Brenna will get on for 6 or 7 minutes and do a little cameo about something, direct booking or personalization or something. So anyway, those 2, without those, there would be no podcast. I literally roll up and, I do some research on the guest and then I just start asking questions. So that's the easy part.
So good to have a great team and they get it. It's a great show. The graphics are great. It's very fun.
Oh yeah, graphic designer too. Sorry, we do have Simon Meredith. We got to give him a shout out for the graphics and then we've got our podcast team is called Fame, which is the production company. So yeah, let's give everybody credit. But we are number 3 now for Apple Podcasts in hotel technology. I know.
Yeah,
awesome.
Very good. Hold on. For that, we give this.
Yeah. Oh yes, Amani, claps.
Let's do it.
I want to hear, when you interview guests, even though the guests are across, different disciplines, but mostly in hospitality, what is a common thread that you see with guests? Like a common thing a common answer to a question or a common trend that you see among your guests?
So the thing I probably love the most is, as you mentioned, I'm interviewing a lot of times C-level. These are folks who've been in the industry for a long time. But a lot of them started front desk.
Yeah.
They started in operations.
Yeah.
They started as a valet, So they've seen the inside and they understand deeply how a hotel functions from that perspective. So I would say that would be number 1. which is really cool too, because hopefully we have younger people who are thinking about, what do I want to do with my career? And it's not always linear, right? Like it's never linear, actually.
Never.
So get something you like to do and get in there. But then it's really, how much are you like networking and paying attention and thinking about what really moves the needle for you? And you talk to some of these people and you're like, wow, this is amazing how they kind of weave that path. So that's one thing. The other thing, and I mean, it's kind of duh, because you're talking to hospitality people, but how much they love really truly delivering on a guest experience, like how really important that is. It's not just, because you think, oh, you're in hotels, but being in hospitality is not easy.
No, it's not.
It's grueling.
It's not, yeah.
So you got to love something, right? You got to, that has to be so ingrained in you that you are really here to deliver the best vacation, the best honeymoon, the best family reunion, the best staycation, whatever, and that really moves you. And you see that a lot as well.
So I want to actually, that was one of my follow-up questions. I teach a lot of students about to graduate and come into the world. Some of them go to entertainment, some of them go into hospitality. What are the skills that you look for the most in like incoming graduates? And what skills do you feel that people should definitely have as they want to work for a company like yours, like Revinate?
Ooh, wow. Well, I know that the topic of this thing is culture. So I'll say it, and I'll tell you what, when I look for culture, because often it's funny when someone is coming into an entry-level position or even a mid-level position, I have them interview the whole team and then they do me last, because for one thing, I think managers should choose their people. So I'm not going to come over the top. I want to make sure that the manager or the director knows who that person is. And then I always do the culture interview. So my favorite thing to look for, especially having been at Revinate as long as I have, like, one, how do you deal with ambiguity? If you're looking for a job where you like roll in and there's process and structure around everything, like, peace be with you, that's not our company. We've just never been like that. We've just never been like that. We always have a lot of things going on. We have a North Star, but that often changes. And so if you're somebody who loves to like make their own way, then you're for us. If you're somebody who wants to have a seat at the table pretty soon and be able to talk at different levels of the company, because we're a very flat company. We hired a new pricing analyst who's a total rock star, really super smart. I forget her degree, but it's like, it's way smart, master's degree and some kind of something, very smart. She's on calls right out of the gate with our CEO, our CFO, me, all these people. We're a flat organization and we like people who roll up their sleeves and get in there. And so if you want a roadmap, you're in the wrong company. So that's probably number one.
That's good. Yes, I love it. Yes.
Yeah. And then two, like, you got to be able to get along with people. You're not going to be able to function, and what I love, what I hear about Revinate a lot is that, hey, nobody is like, says that's not my job. Everybody is like, let me point you in the right direction. Let me see how I can help you. Even if I don't have the answer, I probably know somebody who does. So we are kind of unique as a technology company where we have a lot of people who've been here for a while, myself included. And it's a nice blend of incoming talent and folks who've been around for a while to help kind of point you in the right direction. But when you're home-based, you don't, and we all are, we're all remote now. If you don't have that connective tissue, how hard would it be to start a job and you don't know where the answers are? So I would say, be friendly, be a people person. And then, deal with ambiguity. It's more fun. You don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about the hiring phase, but in your tenure, right? Have you been at Revinate for 13 years?
It's coming up on 13 years.
Yeah,
lucky in January.
Lucky 13. Yeah. I mean, that's a long time to be somewhere. So when you think about the culture of Revinate, you think about how you interact with your peers, right? Your C-level peers, or people in different parts of the organization. How do you help them cultivate good culture? Because we know what happens when you're hiring, right? But like, how do you sustain that? How do you keep that going and promote that in the company as a leader?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question because, before COVID, we were all together. We had 3 big offices, one in San Francisco, one in Amsterdam, and one in Singapore. And there was nobody remote. I mean, if anybody, maybe a few people and, engineers in Costa Rica or something, but otherwise we were all together. We had an open plan office, and we had a great time. I mean, I have to say, and if I have any of my former colleagues out there listening, I mean, you know how much fun we had. We had a great time. I think that's what kept us in the company for so long. I've always said, I love the people I work with. I genuinely do. And then when we merged with Navis, who's a bigger company than Revinate Core was, surprisingly, they also had a great culture. So they were all together mostly in Bend, Oregon. But we were very similar in our makeup, but, lots of outdoorsy people who like to work hard, play hard. So that meshed pretty well. I mean, there's always bumps in the road when you're combining 2 companies, but I think, for the most part, and of course, COVID happened during that transition. So we all went home. But in terms of what we try to do to keep it alive, so there's a couple of things. So one thing we have this thing called Top Banana, which started at Revinate way back in the day, but you can nominate your peers. And that goes out in emails and Slack channels. And then once a quarter, we do a drawing, and whoever wins the drawing, both the nominator and the person that won the Top Banana can win a gift card. But it's just cool because everybody is like always giving shout outs to, hey, this person helped me out. And it can be any part of the company, right? So that's one way. Another way is we have a Slack channel called Customer Love. And this one is my favorite channel. Whenever I'm like having a hard day, I'll go read my Customer Love channel where customers will write in and say something awesome about something else. It's really cool. So somebody will put the email with the customer on it. So that's there. And then we also do Rockstar Awards, and those happen once a year. And that's also peer nominated. And those are the big awards, thousands of dollars, trips, recognition for the whole year. So I think there's awards programs that go in place. And then also our CEO once a week does a shout out on Fridays called the Win of the Week. It goes out to the entire company. So it's just really reinforcing, cool employees, cool things that we're doing, trying to keep it positive. I guess, I don't know if that answers your question. I'm thinking about recognition, but.
Yeah, no, it totally answers the question. And what I really like about, first of all, I love the names. I love Top Banana. I love Rockstar. I think that's a Customer Love. You're speaking my language. But I think what sticks out to me in that is, and you're modeling some really awesome behavior, is I think sometimes we think we should do the annual review, right? Or you have your one-on-ones. What you're doing encourages spontaneous recognition as it happens in the moment and making it very public. And I think that's important. And I think some companies do it. Some companies say they're going to do it, but like people actually doing it in multiple facets doesn't always happen. So I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, I think what's so cool about it is kind of the groundswell from everybody at the company. So it is, it's not a fabricated nominate your top banana, people are doing this all the time. Yeah. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Since you are at a technology company, I'm always curious to know, what are your favorite apps to use?
Well, we're slacking our faces off. Like, well, that was my favorite. I swear. Sometimes I was saying,
is that your favorite? I'm not sure if that's your favorite, but tell us your favorite.
My most used, I'll say that. We have channel. You know how it is now. It's like you're coming in and you're like, oh my God, I got all these channels I'm getting mentioned on. I got people DMing me, and sometimes it's like you feel like you're getting poked on the shoulder all the time, like someone's tapping on the shoulder all the time. So yeah, we use a lot of Slack. And then of course we have, the marketing team we're a big Asana shop, just because we got to keep it all together. We have a small team and we have a lot of initiatives. So lots of Asana. Our technology team uses Jira. So we're in that a lot too. Figma is a big one for us, for all of our design teams, and trying to think what else. I mean, our technology guys could get on here and tell you all the things. I mean, we use like SEMrush. We use obviously, Google Analytics is big for us. And so we've got all the monies on all the things.
I want to go back to when you were talking about email CRM.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people, when they think they're developing relationships, because I coach a lot of people in the music business.
Yes.
They think that number of followers is the primary indicator of success, when really you want to try to capture people's email addresses so you have direct contact with them, really their cell phone numbers. What's your thought on comparing acquiring number of followers to the importance of acquiring email addresses?
Right. Well, I would say for our purposes, when we think about Revinate, we obviously track, how many LinkedIn followers do we have? How many, Instagram followers do we have? How many people are downloading the podcast, et cetera. But I think you're right. The rubber meets the road with the actual contact information and engaging with our newsletter, engaging with our email campaigns, hopefully booking a demo on our website. So if you're talking to myself and Sanjana on the brand marketing side, we're always looking at what's our reach. If you're talking to my CFO, he wants to know how much is the database and size increase, how many people are engaging with our content, booking our demos, inbound, outbound leads, like all of those things flow through. So the contact information is key. We actually have a team of contractors too that just helps us make sure that everything stays fresh so that we're getting the right leads and we're cultivating that. But you have to be able to nurture them. That's the thing. Like people might give you their email, but if you abuse it, like, no,
they're gonna opt out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, or you send a clearly AI written email that like just gets deleted, right? It's like that quality of that email too that comes from CRM. Yeah,
100. And I mean that's our whole shtick for the hotel company. Our hotel companies is personalize your email. Don't make sure you segment properly. So we also try to do the same thing, right? We don't want to blast people with stuff they don't want.
Good. Now, we've come to the point in the show where we kind of flip the script. We let you ask both myself and Mandy any question you want. Nothing is off limits. So what question do you want to ask, and who do you want to ask that question to first?
Amani, I want to know more about the music stuff. Music and you mentioned music and acting. Yeah. So what, and you're a teacher, or what's going on?
Yes. I'm a professor too. Just how you are adjunct professor, I'm an adjunct professor, Cal State University, Fullerton. I teach music business. And I teach the business of music to people who want to work in the industry. I grew up in hotels. Just how you mentioned where I started as a front desk agent. Actually, I started, my first job was the cashier that would sell the tickets for you to get your drinks at a banquet. I went from there to then front desk clerk, and then eventually I had bigger jobs. So that's where I started. But currently, like, I work a lot in music because I'm a professional DJ. So I teach music business. I wrote a book about music, 2 books. That's my world. That's what I do.
I love that. You know what? Way back in the day, I was in a band when I was teaching at Sac City College in Sac State. I was a singer in an alternative rock band, Sacramento, California, which I can tell you at the time, I mean, it was Cake, it was Deftones. It was like, this was the place to be. So anyway, I think that's so cool, Monty. That's great.
Do you still sing, or if
no, not anymore.
Okay.
I mean, I do to myself, but.
Okay. Yes. Well, that's my world. That's the world I live in.
I think that's so cool. And you're passionate about it.
Yes. Very passionate. I love my students. So, we always take good care of them.
I think that is one of the coolest ages there is kind of that early 20s, late teens, early 20s when you have, and I know at a city college, or no, you're at Sac State, you're at a state college, but you can have all ages. But that age is such a cool, like your whole world's in front of you. You can do anything you want. You can always do anything you want, but then it's really, you don't have all the other stuff on you, like mortgages.
Exactly. Yes.
That's right. All right, Mandy, my question for you is, how did you guys meet, you and Amani? Like, how did you get this whole, we were talking a little bit before the show started about now you're doing this every week, but how did you guys meet and decide to even start doing this in the first place?
Yeah, so Amani, when he just gave his profile, was being very modest. So Amani was the president of Meeting Professionals International, Southern California. And I was a volunteer, and we were a part of an annual education conference where it was hotels and meeting planners all get together for education. And they said, we were trying to drive registration for the conference, and I was like, why don't you guys do a LinkedIn Live? I had just been interviewed on a LinkedIn Live, and Amani's like, I'll do that with you. So he and I, to drive registration numbers, did this LinkedIn Live once a week for 10 minutes. And it was one week we launched the keynote speaker, another week we launched sponsors, another week we launched where the meetups are. We launched content just to get people excited, like 6 weeks leading up to the conference. Then the conference happened and the numbers were great and our strategy worked. And then after, we were like, well, now how do we work together? Like, that was fun, but this is over. And so I had just, Amani had released his first book, I think 6 months prior. I was in the middle of a book tour. And I had been meeting all these people who were telling me their business stories. And I felt selfish keeping these stories to myself. So I had already been thinking about, how do I share these stories? Do I write another book? Do I do a podcast? And I asked Amani, have you ever thought of doing a podcast? He's like, well, I actually have one, but I don't have an active one. I'm like, do you want to do one with me? He's like, sure. So that's how, and we both love talking about business, and we both cut our teeth in hospitality. So, we interview, thought leaders, CEOs, and founders, but since we both cut our teeth in hospitality, a lot of the guests are, the leaders in the hospitality industry. But because Amani has, he's really expanded his business in the last 3 years since we've been doing this, and I've expanded mine. We've gone beyond hospitality, and we have just a bunch of really rad CEOs, leaders, and founders that we chat through. So we met through that, and then we just kept doing it, and we haven't stopped. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, we were just saying, we mentioned the Hotel Moment podcast. Well, that's recorded. We have some time, but for you all to do this every week for an hour, it's incredible. For anybody listening, like, this is harder than it looks, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's the best part of my week. I mean, I love talking to cool people like you that have these vast experiences. If for us, Amani, speak for yourself, but this is a masterclass for us to learn from you every week and to take some of these things away. So that's how we met. And we're sticking to it. We're sticking with it.
That's our story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if we were to go back and visit you, go back to you meet Karen as she is graduating from grad school with her master's in Francais, and give her advice based on everything you learned in your career and life so far, what advice would you give your younger self?
I think I would say to my younger self, always stay centered on what lights you up, right? Because I think that, like, we're talking about singing and all of that, I loved it so much. And I think at some point I decided to leave Sacramento where I was and move to Denver for personal reasons. I wanted to have, my parents divorced when I was young. My dad was living in Denver. So I wanted to have like an adult relationship with my father. But I thought when I left, like, I'll just get in another band. I'll just, like, you can never take for granted the things that are really going right where you are. And I feel like when I was younger, I was always looking for that next thing instead of really enjoying the thing that I was in. Some of my happiest days, I mentioned I was making $10,000 a year when I was a professor. You know what? I was really happy though. I was stoked. I was like in a band and teaching. So if I could go back and talk to the 26-year-old Karen again, I'd say, hey, enjoy this for as long as you can, because whatever you're putting on yourself that you need to go show up and do doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go show up and do it. And what I meant by that was I was like, oh, I gotta produce, I gotta do more, I gotta be more. Right. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, if that resonates.
That makes perfect sense. Then my follow-up would be like, what is next for Revinate? What's coming on the horizon that you can share? I know there's some things, but where are you looking to get to in this world that is changing so fast when it comes to like technology, personalization, all those things? Yeah.
So I think this is the challenge for just about all technology companies. But, for us, it's really maximizing what can be done with AI. We spent the last couple of years making sure that we could centralize all of our data sources into a single platform. So that work has been done now. We've migrated all of our customers onto this platform, and now we're unlocking the value of that. So I would say it's that, and really bringing all the channels together. So by channels, I mean what's happening on email, voice, messaging, all of that coming together, and then unlocking that through digital and other places. So the name of the game for all technology companies out there is you got to be able to play well in the sandbox. You got to be able to connect with different complementary technologies. But at the core of that has to be data that is in one single location that has been synthesized, or identity resolution has been applied so that it can be activated. And that's firmly what we're focused on, direct booking based on clean data.
Good. Over to you, Manny. Close us out.
Well, I have two final questions. One is, I want to go back because you talked about the connective tissue from a leadership standpoint, like internally. What do you think is missing from a connective tissue with customers right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's such a crazy time right now for everybody. Hotels certainly, this has been quite a year. In the larger macroeconomic situation, it's not that it's bad necessarily, it's just there's a lot of uncertainty. So I think that most customers are in a position where they're not sure what's going on within their own businesses, and there's just a lot of hesitation, across the board. So we're really blessed with very strong customer relationships. That's something we've always excelled in. And I think, again, that goes back. I'm going to give my colleague, Ronnie Krischel, a shout out, who's our Chief Customer Officer. So I think we've always been kind of market leading in terms of our service and support. If there's anything missing, I think it's just making sure that, we're able to help our customers achieve their next level of success, making sure our platforms deliver what they need to deliver, making sure communications are solid. So that's probably it, because I think that a lot of folks are looking for more guidance, more surety right now. And no matter where you are on the political spectrum, no matter where you are in any place, it's all a little bit frantic right now.
Yeah. The certainty about uncertainty is definitely a thing right now. What about you, as a human, as Karen, like what is next for you personally? Is there anything that you're working on, whether that's internally at Revinate that you're really proud of, or just personally as a human being? What are you working on?
Yeah. So, one thing I'm definitely working on this is going to sound funny, but I want to get really strong. So I'm strength training with a women's collective. It's called EVO Collective. It's like a gym. It's a real small space gym with a personal trainer there in Sacramento, if anybody's interested. But I'm all about building muscle right now. So, and the other thing that's cool about it is that I leave my house, I'm remote. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I got to go train. So that's one thing. And then going back to the voice question, like I'm definitely, I've started taking voice lessons again, just to start singing. I'm just singing to myself, like I said, but it goes back to like, what do you really love and what really moves you? Because like, you're not going to find it anywhere outside, right? You got to figure out what you want to do inside. And so for me, it's being strong so I can move my body and continue to ski and kayak and hike and all the stuff I love to do. And then singing just because it's fun.
Oh my God, you're speaking my language. I'm into like crazy strength training right now too. I just want to do at least one chin up. I'm so with you on this.
Isn't it great?
It's so great. Like your body is so much more capable than we know, right?
Yes.
Like it just is. Okay, I lied. I have one last question.
Okay.
So now that we know how much singing you do and how you're back into voice lessons, what's one song that you belt out, like in the shower or where you're driving a car, even if your voice doesn't sound awesome, like a song you know all the words to, you just belt out?
Oh gosh. Well, the one that I used to rely on all the time is Me and Bobby McGee, which is Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
I don't know if she wrote it, but just because it's easy to belt, the one I'm practicing that I wish I could know is one by Tori Amos called Sleeps with Butterflies, which is a beautiful song. Yeah. And then fun fact, we had a leadership offsite for Revinate a few years ago. And Bryson, our CEO, was talking about, he loves Rush, by the way, that's his band. But he was talking about how a live performance, like when you get a band on stage and they're doing a live performance, it's not necessarily perfect. It's not like a recording studio where you can map everything out. Yeah. You got to prepare as musicians and know each other so well that when you get on stage to do the live performance, you just knock it out of the park, you crush it. And that was kind of his goals and aspirations for us as a leadership team. So when I got up to do my section, I actually pulled out one of my songs from back in the day and I did and sang over the top of it. And I mean, the faces of my colleagues is pretty hilarious.
Oh my God,
they were just like, oh my God.
Yes, hilarious in a good way. Hilarious in a good way.
Yes.
And brave. I think like you said an example of like, I don't know how this is going to go, but I am strong and brave enough to do this in front of
Yeah.
you and just deal with it. And the synchronicity of a team. I love that message.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And if you know you're a rock
Yeah.
star, you know you're a rock star. You know
That's
what I mean?
right. Yeah. Rock stars are rock stars. Yes.
Amen.
How can we support you and lift you up right now? What can we do? You've just given us an hour that's gone so fast. How can we give back to you and support you?
You know what? I just love talking to you guys. I'm inspired by the fact that we can just get on here and riff. Cause I mean, obviously like I said, we planned for this. I got all my questions and I don't even know. It's so fun to be connected to you both and inspired. And Amani, I want to hear some music coming out of your program over here.
Yes. We can make that happen.
All right. No, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to, just staying connected, and maybe we'll do this again sometime. Also, we have a conference every year, a customer conference called Navigate. I think I'm going to steal your idea here with the pre-conference little lives beforehand.
Yeah.
So thank you for that idea.
Yeah, no problem. And we've done that for other people's conferences too. So if you have any questions on leading up to it, we're happy to help you too. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to do. Steal it. It is easy, but steal it. It gets people excited.
I love it.
We can be a resource for you. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we appreciate you spending your time and giving your expertise and answering so many questions about tech that I have more to list here, but we'll get to that the next time. So we just say thank you. We'll make sure that we keep in touch. We're going to put you in the green room after a round of applause. So just hold tight there once you get there. So once again, round of applause for Karen Stevens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karen. It's so good to see you.
Okay, Mandy, another great episode is in the books. Who do we have to look forward to next week?
Next week, we legit have a ringer. We have Nili the Ringer Goldfarb, who is the creator of Ringers Roller Rink and Entertainment. So she's all about, we've seen the roller skating, the roller rink. We've seen them at events. See, I feel like every conference we've been to this year, there's roads and roads of roller skaters everywhere. Yeah. But she's got multiple facilities and has a really interesting story. So we're gonna talk with the Ringer next week, Nili Goldfarb.
Amazing. Thanks again to our guest, Karen Stevens. Make sure if you're watching this, subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're listening, don't forget to rate, review, share with a friend this podcast, leave us a review. And with that, we will see you all next week, 1 p.m. on the West, 4 p.m. on the East. Happy day and goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Bye. Easy.